The Crucible Coliseum. Chapter 1, The Crucible's Ultimatum. The chill that ran down Dr. Anya Petrova's spine wasn't just from the United Nations Council chamber's recycled air. It was the alien transmission, crackling with an insidious static that somehow felt colder than the vacuum of space. The image of the Krill ambassador wavered on the screen, its segmented body and multifaceted eyes seeming to pierce through Anya's soul. One rotation, the translator's voice stuttered, each syllable heavy with the weight of a death sentence. To decide your fate, the Crucible Coliseum or extinction. A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. Anya felt the eyes of world leaders, generals, and scientists turn to her, seeking answers she didn't possess. All she knew was the gnawing fear in the pit of her stomach, in the fury that threatened to boil over. Dr. Petrova, President Alvarez's voice cut through the stunned silence. You're our foremost expert on astrophysics. What do you make of this crucible? Anya rose from her seat, her hands trembling slightly as she addressed the council. The Krill have always been secretive, their motives inscrutable. But this, she paused, gathering her thoughts. This is beyond anything we've encountered. The crucible, it's unheard of, a complete enigma. General Thomas Keller, a man with the weathered face of a seasoned soldier, leaned forward. Cut the science mumbo-jumbo, Petrova, he growled. Bottom line, what are our options? Anya's gaze hardened. From what I gather, we have none. The Krill's ultimatum is clear. Participate in this coliseum or face annihilation. They've made no mention of what it entails, but given their history of brutality, I doubt it will be a friendly competition. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of protests and exclamations. Anya's words had confirmed their worst fears. The Krill, a technologically superior race that had subjugated countless worlds, were now offering humanity a choice between a mysterious ordeal and utter destruction. President Alvarez's gavel banged on the podium, restoring a semblance of order. Silence, she commanded. We will not panic. We will not give in to despair. We will find a way to survive this. Her words, though resolute, did little to quell the unease that hung heavy in the air. Anya knew the truth. Humanity was facing its darkest hour. But as she looked around the room, at the faces of those who had been chosen to represent Earth's best and brightest, a glimmer of hope flickered within her. In the days that followed, Anya found herself thrust into the heart of a whirlwind of activity. She was whisked away to a sprawling underground facility, a hidden sanctuary where the government's top scientists and engineers worked tirelessly. There she met Emily Chen, an engineering prodigy with a mischievous glint in her eyes, and Marcus Wright, a battle-hardened strategist whose mind was a labyrinth of tactical scenarios. The team was diverse, each member handpicked for their unique skills and unwavering spirit. They were scientists, hackers, athletes, artists, a tapestry of humanity's potential woven together by a common thread of defiance. As the days turned into nights, Anya and her team trained relentlessly, their bodies and minds pushed to the limits. They studied Krill technology, ran simulations of countless scenarios, and debated strategies until their voices grew hoarse. It was a race against time, a desperate gamble to prepare for the unknown. And then the day arrived. Anya stood with her teammates on the launch pad, dwarfed by the sleek alien spacecraft that would carry them to their uncertain fate. A wave of nausea swept over her, a mix of fear and adrenaline. But as the countdown echoed through the speakers, a sense of resolve settled upon her. She was not just a scientist, a scholar of the cosmos. She was a representative of humanity, a fighter for a future that hung in the balance. With a thunderous roar, the spacecraft shot into the sky, leaving Earth behind. As Anya gazed out the viewport at the receding planet, a single thought echoed in her mind. We will survive this. The crucible awaited, its secrets shrouded in darkness. But humanity, a species born from resilience and ingenuity, was ready to face the challenge, to carve its own destiny amidst the stars. Chapter 2, Trial by Adaptation. The lurching stop of the spacecraft sent Anya tumbling across the cold metallic floor. A chorus of grunts and curses followed as her teammates regained their footing, their faces pale in the harsh, artificial light. Welcome to paradise, Marcus Wright quipped, his voice tinged with nervous humor as he surveyed the barren landscape outside the viewport. It wasn't paradise. It was a desolate wasteland, a panorama of jagged rocks, dust-filled canyons, and a sky the color of bruised plums. A biting wind howled against the hull of the ship, a constant reminder of the hostile environment that awaited them. "All right, team," General Keller's voice crackled over the intercom. "This is it. Time to show those krill bastards what we're made of." Anya shared a determined nod with Emily Chen, whose fingers were already dancing across a portable console, analyzing the atmospheric data. "The air is breathable," Emily announced, her voice surprisingly calm amidst the tension. "But the temperature is dropping rapidly. We need shelter, fast." With practiced efficiency, the team disembarked, each member carrying a backpack filled with essential tools and supplies. Anya, armed with a geological hammer and a radiation detector, scanned the surrounding terrain, her mind racing as she calculated their best course of action. "Over there," Zarakan pointed towards a cluster of towering rock formations. "We can use those as a natural windbreak." Marcus, ever the strategist, nodded in agreement. "Good eye, Zara. Let's move." Under the fading light of the alien sun, the team set to work, their diverse skills meshing together seamlessly. Emily and her engineering team scavenged for usable materials, fashioning rudimentary shelters out of scavenged metal and scraps of the spacecraft's insulation. Marcus and the strategist meticulously planned their camp layout, maximizing their defenses against the elements and potential threats. Anya, meanwhile, ventured out with a small exploration team, their boots crunching on the unfamiliar soil. As they delved deeper into the rocky terrain, they stumbled upon strange geometric symbols etched into the canyon walls. "What are those?" Zara asked, tracing the symbols with her gloved fingers. Anya squinted, her scientific curiosity piqued. "I don't recognize the script, but they're definitely deliberate. Some kind of message, perhaps." Further exploration revealed more unsettling discoveries. Bleached bones scattered amidst the rocks, the remnants of some unknown creature, a strange, pulsing energy signature emanating from a deep crevice, and whispers, barely audible, that seemed to ride on the wind itself. Back at the makeshift camp, as the team huddled around a flickering fire fueled by a strange, bioluminescent fungus, Anya shared her findings. A sense of unease settled over the group. "This place," Marcus muttered, his brow furrowed in thought. "It's not just a test of survival, it's something else." Emily's eyes widened with a sudden realization. "An experiment," she whispered. "The krill are studying us, watching how we adapt." The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, revealing a chilling truth. The Crucible was not just an arena, it was a laboratory, a cruel playground where the krill toyed with the fate of entire species. A wave of anger washed over Anya, but it was quickly replaced by a steely determination. They wouldn't be pawns in the krill's twisted game. They would fight back, adapt, and uncover the secrets of this place. As the alien night descended, casting long shadows across the barren landscape, the team huddled closer, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of the fire. They were alone, isolated in a hostile world, but they were not defeated. They were humanity, and they would survive. Chapter 3, Forging Bonds of Defiance. The ground beneath them shook with a guttural roar, the rocky terrain transforming into a labyrinth of shifting walls and treacherous pits. Anya stumbled, narrowly avoiding a gaping chasm that seemed to materialize out of thin air. "This isn't natural," Marcus shouted over the deafening rumble, his eyes scanning the disorienting landscape. "It's some kind of illusion." Anya's mind raced, piecing together the clues. The Crucible wasn't just testing their survival skills. It was probing their minds, their fears, their weaknesses. "We have to stay focused," she yelled back, her voice barely audible amidst the chaos. "Don't let the illusions distract you." But it was easier said than done. The world around them twisted and contorted, shadows morphing into monstrous shapes, whispers taunting them with their deepest insecurities. Some of the team members faltered, their minds succumbing to the illusion's insidious grip. Anya felt a tendril of fear wrap around her own heart, but she fought back with every ounce of her willpower. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and focused on the rhythmic thump of her own heartbeat. When she opened her eyes again, the illusions seemed to have lessened their hold on her. "This way!" Zara's voice cut through the confusion, her agile form weaving through the shifting maze with uncanny grace. Anya followed, her trust in the young athlete unwavering. They emerged from the illusionary labyrinth into a vast, dimly lit cavern. A grotesque creature, a fusion of reptilian and insectoid features, blocked their path, its multiple eyes glowing with predatory hunger. "Stay back!" Marcus barked, raising his energy rifle. But before he could fire, a figure dropped from the shadows above, landing with feline agility on the creature's back. It was a Zal, a humanoid with sleek, fur-covered skin and glowing eyes. With a swift strike, the Zal severed the creature's spinal cord, sending it crashing to the ground in a lifeless heap. "Greetings, Tyrants," the Zal said, its voice a melodious purr. "I am Kale. We have been watching you." Anya exchanged a wary glance with her teammates. "Who are you? Why are you helping us?" Kale's eyes narrowed. "We are the Zal, a species enslaved by the Krill. Like you, we were brought to this accursed place to be tested, broken." A shared understanding passed between them. They were not alone in this ordeal. Other species had suffered under the Krill's tyranny, their spirits crushed by the Crucible's cruel trials. In the days that followed, the team forged an uneasy alliance with Kale and his fellow Zal. They shared their knowledge, their skills, and their stories of hardship and resilience. Anya learned about the Zal's history, their culture, and their unwavering determination to break free from the Krill's grasp. The alliance extended to other species as well. They encountered the Grath, a wise and ancient race with a deep understanding of the Crucible's technology, and the Lumina, bioluminescent beings with the ability to manipulate light and energy. Each encounter strengthened the team's resolve. They were no longer just individuals fighting for survival. They were a collective, a growing rebellion united by a shared hatred of the Krill and a burning desire for freedom. One evening, as they sat around a crackling fire, Anya watched as Marcus shared stories of his military exploits with Kale, their laughter echoing through the cavern. Emily and a Grath elder worked together on a makeshift communication device, their faces illuminated by the Lumina's gentle glow. A sense of warmth and camaraderie filled Anya's heart. These were her people, her family, forged in the fires of adversity. Together, they would face the Crucible's trials, unravel its secrets, and defy the Krill's dominion. The seeds of rebellion had been sown, and a new hope bloomed in the darkness of their shared struggle. Chapter 4. Unraveling the Krill's Agenda. A hushed silence fell over the dimly lit cavern as Anya and Kale huddled over a flickering holographic display. It was a map, not of the Crucible's treacherous terrain, but of its intricate network of data conduits. "This is it," Emily whispered, her fingers tracing the glowing lines. "The central control hub. If we can access it, we can unlock the Crucible's secrets." Marcus, ever cautious, raised a skeptical eyebrow. "Sounds like a suicide mission. The Krill guard that place like it's their queen's nest." Anya met his gaze, her determination unwavering. "It's a risk we have to take. We need to know why they're doing this, what their endgame is." A plan began to form, a daring infiltration that would require every ounce of their cunning and skill. While Marcus and his team created a diversion, drawing the Krill guards away with a series of coordinated attacks, Anya, Emily, and Kale would slip into the control hub, their footsteps masked by the chaos. It was a tense and perilous journey. They navigated through labyrinthine corridors, their hearts pounding with every creak of metal and hiss of alien machinery. They bypassed security sensors with Emily's ingenious hacking tools and evaded patrolling drones with Kale's uncanny stealth. Finally, they reached their destination, a vast circular chamber pulsating with energy. At its center, a massive crystalline structure hummed with an eerie light, its surface etched with cryptic symbols. "This is it," Anya whispered, her voice filled with awe and trepidation. "The heart of the Crucible." Emily connected her console to the crystal, her fingers flying across the interface as she bypassed security protocols and delved into the Krill's encrypted archives. "I'm in," she announced, her voice hushed with excitement. "Downloading data now." As the information poured into their system, Anya and Kale watched in stunned silence. It was a revelation, a window into the Krill's darkest fears and twisted motivations. They learned of an ancient prophecy, whispered among the stars, that spoke of a rising power, a species destined to challenge the Krill's dominion. The Krill, despite their technological prowess and ruthlessness, were haunted by this prophecy. their every action driven by a desperate desire to maintain their grip on power. The Crucible, Anya realized, was not just a test of strength or intelligence. It was a weapon, a tool designed to identify and eliminate any species that posed a threat to the Krill's supremacy. Rage bubbled up inside Anya, a burning fury at the Krill's arrogance and cruelty. But it was quickly replaced by a sense of purpose, a newfound clarity. They had been chosen for a reason, not as victims, but as potential catalysts for the Krill's downfall. "We have to expose this," she declared, her voice ringing with determination. "We have to show the galaxy the truth about the Krill." Kale nodded, his eyes blazing with a newfound resolve. "We will fight them. We will break their chains and reclaim our freedom." A wave of agreement rippled through the team. They were no longer just survivors. They were rebels, a united front against tyranny. The knowledge they had uncovered had ignited a spark of defiance that would soon engulf the galaxy. As they made their escape from the control hub, the weight of their discovery pressing upon them, Anya knew that the road ahead would be perilous. But she also knew that they were not alone. The seeds of rebellion had been sown, and the fight for freedom had just begun. Chapter 5. The Crucible's Reckoning. A hushed tension filled the makeshift control room, a repurposed storage chamber deep within the Crucible's labyrinthine underbelly. The air crackled with nervous energy as Emily hunched over her console, her fingers dancing across the keys in a flurry of code. "Almost there," she muttered, her voice barely a whisper. "Just a few more firewalls to bypass." Anya stood beside her, her heart pounding in her chest. The plan was audacious, reckless even, but it was their only chance to break the Krill's stranglehold on the galaxy. They would use the Crucible's own communication network against them, broadcasting their message of defiance to every corner of the cosmos. Marcus, ever the voice of caution, paced the room, his brow creased with worry. "Are you sure this is going to work, Chen?" he asked, his voice gruff. "If we trigger their alarms—" Emily shot him a confident grin. "Relax, General, I've got this." Her fingers paused, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. "We're in," she announced. "The network is ours." Anya felt a surge of adrenaline. It was time. Kale, his eyes glowing with intensity, stepped forward, his voice resonating with a righteous fury. "People of the galaxy," he began, his words translated into 100 different languages. "We are the prisoners of the Crucible, victims of the Krill's tyranny. For eons they have manipulated and oppressed us, using their power to maintain their dominion. But no more." As Kale recounted the Krill's atrocities, the evidence they had gathered from the archives, a wave of shock and outrage rippled through the hidden corners of the Crucible. The Lumina, their bodies shimmering with indignation, amplified the message, broadcasting it to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. The Krill's response was swift and brutal. Alarms blared, the once dormant Crucible coming alive with a menacing hum. The ground trembled as Krill warships descended upon the arena, their weapons charged and ready to unleash their fury. "They're coming," Marcus said, his voice grim. "Brace yourselves." The team exchanged determined glances, their resolve unwavering. They had struck a blow against the Krill, exposed their lies, and ignited a spark of rebellion. Now they would face the consequences. As the Krill forces stormed the Crucible, the once diverse team of humans and their alien allies stood shoulder to shoulder, a united front against oppression. Anya, armed with a makeshift energy weapon, found herself fighting alongside Marcus, their disparate skills complementing each other in the chaos of battle. Emily, her face streaked with sweat and grime, worked tirelessly to maintain the broadcast, ensuring their message continued to reach the galaxy. Kale and his fellow Zal, their reflexes honed by a lifetime of struggle, darted through the battlefield, their claws and fangs tearing into the Krill's insectoid bodies. The battle raged for hours, a symphony of explosions, laser fire, and desperate cries. The Crucible, once a monument to the Krill's power, was now a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to resist. As the sun began to rise over the ravaged landscape, the Krill forces, battered and demoralized, retreated, leaving behind a trail of wreckage and the stench of defeat. The team, bruised and exhausted, surveyed the aftermath, their hearts filled with a mixture of grief and triumph. They had lost many brave souls in the fight, but their sacrifice had not been in vain. They had struck a blow against the heart of the Krill Empire, exposed their lies, and ignited a fire of rebellion that would burn across the galaxy. The final trial of the Crucible was not a test of their survival, but a testament to their resilience, their courage, and their unwavering belief in a future free from oppression. Chapter 6, A Galaxy Reborn. The roar of battle filled the air, a deafening symphony of laser fire, explosions, and the desperate cries of combatants. The Crucible, once a sterile arena, was now a maelstrom of chaos and destruction. Anya, her face streaked with sweat and dust, ducked behind a toppled pillar, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The Krill warriors, their chitinous armor gleaming in the artificial light, advanced relentlessly, their mandibles clicking with murderous intent. Beside her, Marcus squeezed off a burst of energy fire, his weathered face grim with determination. "We can't hold them off much longer," he grunted, reloading his rifle. "We need a miracle." Just when it seemed all hope was lost, a blinding flash of light erupted from the far end of the arena. Anya squinted, shielding her eyes from the glare. As the light subsided, a figure emerged from the smoke, her form wreathed in crackling energy. "Sarah!" Anya breathed, her heart leaping with a mix of relief and awe. The young athlete, her eyes blazing with newfound power, raised her hands, and a wave of energy surged through the battlefield, disorienting the Krill warriors and sending them reeling back. Anya exchanged a knowing glance with Marcus. "The Lumina," she whispered. "They've shared their power with her." It was a turning point. The Lumina, their bioluminescent bodies pulsing with energy, joined the fray, their light weaving a tapestry of hope and defiance across the battlefield. The Grath, their ancient wisdom guiding their every move, created shields of energy that deflected the Krill's relentless attacks. Even the Zal, their primal fury ignited by the taste of freedom, fought with renewed ferocity. Anya felt a surge of adrenaline as she watched the tide of battle turn. This was not just a fight for survival. It was a fight for the soul of the galaxy. The Crucible, once a symbol of oppression, became a crucible of unity, where different species, united by a common enemy and a shared dream of freedom, fought as one. The Krill, their once impenetrable defenses crumbling under the onslaught, began to falter, their confidence shattered. As the last Krill warrior fell, a hush descended upon the battlefield, broken only by the crackling of dying energy weapons and the groans of the wounded. Anya stood amidst the wreckage, her heart filled with a bittersweet mixture of triumph and sorrow. They had won, but at a great cost. Many brave souls had sacrificed their lives for this victory, their names etched into the annals of history as heroes of the rebellion. As the smoke cleared, the Crucible's once domed ceiling began to crumble, revealing the vast expanse of the cosmos above. Starlight filtered through the gaps, bathing the battlefield in an ethereal glow. Kale, his fur matted with blood and grime, approached Anya, his eyes filled with a newfound wisdom. "We have won this battle," he said, his voice a low growl, "but the war for freedom has just begun." Anya nodded, her gaze fixed on the stars. "The galaxy will never be the same," she said, her voice filled with quiet determination. "We have shown them what we are capable of. We have given them hope." As the survivors of the Crucible began to rebuild their shattered lives, a new era dawned upon the galaxy. The Krill's reign of terror was over, their empire reduced to ashes. In its place, a fragile alliance of diverse species emerged, united by a shared experience of oppression and a newfound respect for each other's strengths. Humanity, once considered a minor player on the galactic stage, had proven their mettle. They had not only defied the odds, but they had also inspired countless others to rise up against their oppressors. They had shown the galaxy that even the smallest spark of defiance, when fueled by courage and unity, could ignite a revolution that would change the course of history. And so, as the Crucible faded into a distant memory, a galaxy reborn began to take shape, its future shaped by the indomitable spirit of those who dared to dream of a brighter tomorrow.